The knights were forced to leave Rhodes. The Roman Emperor gave them Malta as their new base.
The Maltese falcon, the Maltese Islands, were given to the Knights of Malta for the annual payment of one Maltese falcon. The Maltese cross. The Knights of Malta eight-pointed cross represents the 8 European languages used then by the Knights of Malta. The George Cross. The Great Britain awarded the George Cross to the Maltese Islands for the enduring sufferings, heroism and devotion shown during the Second World War. The George Cross is incorporated into the flag of Malta. The Maltese balconies. The history of the traditional Maltese balconies goes back to 1200 years, during the Arabic Islamic occupation. These were intended to be used by the women as they were not allowed outside their homes. Today these old balconies are part of the Malta national heritage. Valetta is surrounded by 16 kilometers of very strong fortification walls. These were built after the great attack by the Islamic Turks in 1565. On the right-hand side are the Slima Harbour and the modern town of Slima. In the middle of the Slima Harbour is the nice fortress called Manel Island, built by the Knights of Malta. Slima is also the Malta main commercial district. We are in St. Mark's Street. On the left side is the top part of St. Mary's Church. This city architecture style is called Baroque style. In simple language, Baroque means prior from invading Europe from the south. The knights communicated by the Latin language. Malta is an independent democratic island nation. The population is about 500,000 Maltese and 200,000 foreigners. The official languages are the Maltese and the English. Most of the Maltese are Roman Catholics. Independence Square. In the center, the monument of the killing of the Maltese when they revolted against the occupation of the Napoleon French. This is St. Paul's English Anglican Cathedral, built during the British occupation. Independence. Independence Square. In the center, the monument of the killing of the Maltese when they revolted against the occupation of the Napoleon French. This is St. Paul's English Anglican Cathedral, built during the British occupation. But the Maltese Catholic Cathedral is St. John's, in the city centre. See also a collection of traditional Maltese balconies. We are in the old Theatre Street. On the left is the Catholic Church of Santa Maria of the Carmelo, with the big dome. On the right is the interesting north part of Mint Street. This is the south part of the old Mint Street. Here is also the place where the Knights of Malta used to make their own money, mostly silver and gold coins. In front of us is one of many freshwater fountains, which used to supply this city with fresh water. This area is famous. The underground city. All these old houses have underground basements connected to long underground tunnels, leading to special safe places like the fortresses. Thus, in case of an invasion or enemy attack, the city residents were able to secretly escape below ground without being noticed. The left is the most populated town in Malta. That area is also the most expensive property area, as it is about 4 times more expensive than on this side. In Slima, a new apartment costs about 800,000 euros.
From the States.
No, UK.
Okay. From your accent,
In front of us, you can see Fort St. Elmo. What used to be a watchtower was reinforced and turned into a fortification in 1533 to protect the entrances of the Grand Harbour and Marsamxett Harbour. Recently, this fort has been restored, and inside one can visit the War Museum.
In front of the fort are the granaries. These are the underground storage silos that were used to store the dried food, wheat and for fresh water.
On the left, you can see the entrance to the War Museum and the Malta experience next to it. Visitors can experience Malta's history from the first inhabitants dating back to 7,000 years ago through an audiovisual presentation in 15 different languages. In front of the Malta experience, there is the Sagra Infermeria. This was used by the Knights of St. John and was one of the best hospitals at the time. Presently, it is being used as a conference center.
The Grand Harbour and the main natural port of Malta. The entrance of the port is on the left. Across is Ranella Fortifications, which today houses the Malta Film Studios. In the centre is the old British Naval Hospital in Greek architecture style, built during the First World War in 1914. Today this building is the Malta Heritage Centre and the Science Museum. Across you can also see part of the old Three Cities. You can visit the Three Cities because the land was cheaper. Rich and the noble lived in large houses and palaces near the city centre.
The southern part of Valletta is more residential, while the city centre is more commercial. During the times in which the British ruled the Maltese Islands, Valletta had around 24,000 residents, while today it has decreased to only 6,500. Although Valletta is very busy with tourists, this city sees thousands of people coming every day for work in retail outlets, offices, government departments, and the law courts.
Merchant Street. On the right side is the old parish church of St. Dominic, built in Baroque style.